Stop scrolling, just for a moment. If this message reached you right now, it's not random. Out of millions of people, somehow, you are the one hearing this. And deep inside, you already feel it. Something isn't normal today. Lately, you've been carrying things you don't talk about. You smile in front of others, but inside, there's pressure, confusion, and questions. At night, your mind doesn't stay quiet. You think about your future, about your problems, about things you wish were different. And sometimes, you even wonder, is anyone really listening to me? But listen carefully now, because this moment is different. This is not just another video, not just another message you scroll past. This is a pause placed right in your life for a reason. Because right now, you're standing in a moment of change. You may not see it yet, but something has already started shifting. Think about the last few days, the stress, the waiting, the feeling that nothing is moving. It made you tired, mentally, emotionally, maybe even spiritually. And you tried to stay strong, but there were moments you almost gave up. Moments where you felt alone, moments where you thought, nothing is changing. But what if I tell you that things were changing, even when you couldn't see it? That silence you felt was not emptiness, but it was preparation. That delay was not rejection, it was alignment. And right now, you are closer to a shift than you have ever been before. This is why this message found you. Not earlier, not later. Right now. So don't rush this moment. Stay here. Because what you're about to hear might be exactly what you needed today. And before we go deeper, just pause for a second. Take a breath and ask yourself honestly, am I ready for change? Right now, in this exact moment, there is something happening around you that you cannot see, but you can feel it. That slight heaviness in your chest, that quiet pull in your heart, that feeling like you were meant to hear this. That's not random. That's awareness. Because sometimes, before anything changes in your life, something shifts inside you first. And that's what's happening right now. You've been asking for answers. Maybe not always out loud, but in your thoughts, in your stress, in those silent moments, when no one is around, you've asked, why is this happening to me? Why does everything feel delayed? When will things finally change? And even if you didn't say it directly, you felt it again and again. But what you didn't realize is you were not being ignored. You were being prepared. Because not every answer comes immediately. Some answers require you to grow into them. Think about everything you've gone through lately. The pressure, the confusion, the waiting. It didn't just happen. It was shaping you, slowly, quietly, without you even noticing. And yes, it felt unfair sometimes. Like you were doing everything right, but still not getting results. Like others were moving ahead, and you were stuck. But listen carefully now. You were never stuck. You were being positioned. Because there are moments in life where nothing seems to move, but everything is being arranged behind the scenes. And this is one of those moments. Right now, something is aligning for you. Something that required your patience, your endurance, your strength. And that's why it couldn't come earlier. Because if it came earlier, you wouldn't have been ready for it. You see, we often think delay means denial, but many times, delay is protection. Protection from things that could have broken you. Protection from timing that wasn't right. Protection from outcomes you weren't ready to handle. And now, after everything you've faced, after everything you've held inside, after every moment you didn't give up, you are standing at the edge of change. This is the part where things start shifting, slowly at first, then all at once. You might notice small signs, a little peace, a small opportunity, a sudden clarity. Don't ignore those. Those are not small. Those are signals that something bigger is on the way. But here's the truth. Most people miss this moment, not because nothing happens, but because they stop paying attention. They get distracted. They lose belief. They assume nothing will change anyway. And they walk away, right when things were about to shift. Don't do that. Not this time. Stay aware. Stay present. Because what's coming next will only make sense if you stay with it. Listen carefully now, because this is the part most people ignore. But the ones who stay are the ones whose life actually changes. Right now, you're not here by accident. Out of everything you could be doing, out of all the distractions around you, you're still here, listening. And that itself means something. Because not everyone pauses like this. Not everyone pays attention. Not everyone is ready. But you are. And deep down, you already know that. There's a reason you didn't skip this. There's a reason something inside you said, wait, listen. That voice, that feeling, that pull, it's guiding you. Because right now, you're being reminded of something you almost forgot. That you're not as lost as you think. You're not as far behind as you feel. And you're definitely not alone. Even in those moments when you felt like no one understood you. When you kept everything inside. When you acted normal in front of people, but felt completely different inside. You were still being seen. Every silent struggle, every hidden tear, every thought you never shared, it all mattered. Nothing about your journey has been random. Not the pain, not the delays, not even the confusion. Because every single phase was shaping who you are becoming. You didn't go through all of that for nothing. You didn't survive those moments just to stay stuck. No, you're here because something is shifting. And now, you're starting to feel it. That small sense of clarity. That slight calmness. That feeling like maybe things will be okay. That's not false hope. That's a sign. Because before a breakthrough happens, there's always a moment like this, where things don't fully make sense yet. But something inside you starts to believe again. And this is that moment. So don't doubt it. Don't overthink it. Don't push it away. Because the moment you start believing, things begin to align. Opportunities appear. Decisions become clear. Paths open up. And suddenly, everything that once felt confusing starts making sense. But it all starts with this moment right here, where you choose to stay, to listen, to believe, even just a little. So if something inside you is saying, "This is for me," don't ignore that feeling. Hold on to it, because that feeling is the beginning of change. Let me tell you something honestly. You've been strong for too long. Not the kind of strong people praise. but the quiet kind, where you deal with everything alone, where you don't tell anyone what you're really going through, where you smile even when you don't feel okay. And the truth is, it's been exhausting. There were days when you didn't even feel like getting up, but you still did, because you had responsibilities, because you didn't have a choice, because no one else would understand. And slowly, you got used to it, used to carrying things silently, used to overthinking everything, used to feeling like you're always behind in life. You saw others moving ahead, achieving things, being happy. And somewhere inside, you started questioning yourself. Why not me? Am I doing something wrong? Why does everything feel so hard for me? And those questions, they stayed with you, day after day, night after night. There were moments when you felt completely alone, even when people were around, even when everything looked normal from the outside. Inside, you were tired, mentally drained, emotionally heavy, and sometimes you didn't even know what exactly was wrong. You just felt it, that weight, that pressure, that constant thinking that never stops. And the worst part, you kept it all inside because you didn't want to look weak, because you didn't want to bother anyone, because you thought, no one will really understand anyway. But listen, every single thing you felt was real. Every struggle, every silent breakdown, every moment you almost gave up, it all mattered. And the fact that you're still here, still trying, still searching for something better, that says a lot about you. Because not everyone keeps going like that. Not everyone survives that kind of pressure. But you did. Even when it didn't feel like strength, it was. And now, after everything you've carried, everything you've questioned, everything you've held inside, you've reached a point where something has to change. Because you can't keep living like this forever. You can't keep pretending you're okay, when deep down, you're not. And maybe that's exactly why you're here right now. Because this isn't just about listening. This is about finally understanding what you've been going through and why. Everything you felt, everything you faced, it wasn't just struggle. It was leading you somewhere, somewhere important. And you're closer to that point than you think. And now, after everything you've been through, this is the part where things begin to change. Not suddenly, not magically overnight, but in a real way, a noticeable way, the kind of change you can actually feel. Because all that pressure you carried, all those moments you questioned yourself, all that waiting, it wasn't pointless. It was building something inside you, something stronger than you realize. You see, most people break under pressure. They quit. They give up. They stop believing. But you didn't. Even when you felt like you couldn't continue, you still moved forward. Maybe slowly, maybe silently, but you didn't stop. And that matters more than you think. Because growth doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like survival. And you survived. Now think about this. If everything had worked out earlier, if you had gotten what you wanted instantly, would you be the same person you are today? Probably not. You wouldn't have this level of understanding, this awareness, this depth. That only comes from going through things. And that's why your journey had to happen this way. not to hurt you, but prepare you. Because what's coming next in your life requires a version of you that didn't exist before, a stronger version, a more aware version, a version that won't break easily. And that's exactly who you're becoming now. This is why things felt slow. This is why it felt like nothing was happening. Because everything was happening internally first. And now, it's starting to reflect externally. You might not see everything at once, but you'll start noticing small changes. Your thinking will feel clearer. Your decisions will feel easier. Situations that once stressed you won't have the same control anymore. And slowly, your environment will start changing too. New opportunities, new directions, new energy, all because something shifted inside you first. And this shift, it's happening right now, in this moment. As you're listening, as you're understanding, as you're finally connecting the dots, this is where everything starts making sense. Why things didn't work out, why certain people left, why some plans failed. It wasn't the end, it was redirection. Because not everything that leaves your life is a loss. Some things leave, so better things can come in. And now, you're entering that phase where things start aligning, where clarity replaces confusion, where peace slowly replaces stress. But only if you allow it, only if you stop holding on to what's already gone, only if you trust that something better is actually ahead, because it is. And deep down, you can feel that too. And even now, after understanding all this, there's still one feeling inside you, that quiet doubt, that small voice asking, what if nothing changes? And it's okay. It's okay to feel that way. Because when you've been disappointed so many times, it becomes hard to trust again, hard to believe again, hard to hope again. But listen carefully. That doubt you feel, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've been through a lot. It means you've tried, and things didn't always go your way. It means you cared, and you got hurt. And that's not failure. That's experience. But here's the truth you need to hear right now. You were never alone in any of it. Not in the nights you couldn't sleep. Not in the days you felt lost. Not in the moments you thought no one understood you. Even when it felt silent. Even when it felt empty. You were not alone. Because strength like yours doesn't come from nowhere. The fact that you kept going, even when everything felt against you, that came from somewhere. And maybe you didn't realize it at the time, but something was holding you together. Something was keeping you from completely breaking. Think about it. There were moments where you felt like you had nothing left. No energy, no motivation, no hope. And still, you made it through. Still, you're here, right now, listening, breathing, trying again. That's not random. That's proof. Proof that you've been carried through more than you realize. And if you made it through all of that, then this next part of your life is not here to break you. It's here to reward you. Not in a fantasy way, but in a real grounded way, where things start to feel lighter, where your mind isn't constantly heavy, where you don't feel stuck all the time, where you finally get moments of peace, and not just for a second, but consistently, because you deserve that. After everything you've handled, everything you've endured, everything you've pushed through, You deserve to feel okay again. You deserve clarity. You deserve stability. You deserve to wake up without that constant weight on your chest. And that's what's starting to come into your life now. But here's the important part. You have to allow it. You have to stop expecting things to go wrong. You have to stop assuming nothing will change. Because the moment you do that, you block the very change you're waiting for. So right now, just for a moment, let that guard down. Let yourself believe, even if it's just a little, that things can improve, that your situation can shift, that your life can feel different. Because it can, and it will. But only if you stay open to it. Only if you stop pushing it away. Only if you trust that this moment right now is the beginning of something better. So now, you have a choice. You can go back to the same thinking, the same doubts, the same patterns. Or you can take this moment seriously and decide that things will be different from here. Not perfect, not instant, but different. Because change doesn't start outside. It starts with a decision inside. A small shift in how you think, how you react, how you see your situation. And right now, you've already taken the first step. You stayed, you listened, you understood. That alone puts you ahead of where you were before. Now the next step is simple. Don't forget this feeling. Don't ignore what you realized here. Because most people, they feel something like this. And then they go back to normal life, like nothing happened. And that's why nothing changes for them. But you're not going to do that. Not this time. This time, you're going to hold on to this. Even if it's just a small part of it. Even if it's just that one thought. That things can get better. Because that one thought is powerful enough to start changing everything. Slowly, day by day, step by step, and one day, you'll look back and realize this was the moment where everything started shifting. This moment right here, where you stopped, where you listened, where you finally understood. So don't let it go. Carry it with you. And if this message connected with you, if even a small part of it felt real, then do one thing. Pause again for a second and acknowledge it. Because not everything deserves your attention. But this moment did. And if you truly feel this, type yes in the comments. Not for anyone else, but for yourself. As a reminder that you were here, that you felt this, and that you chose to believe. Also, save this message. So whenever you feel lost again, you can come back to it and remind yourself that change is possible. And if you know someone who is going through a hard time, share this with them. Because sometimes one message at the right moment can make all the difference. Now, take a deep breath, relax your mind, and move forward with a little more clarity, a little more strength, and a little more belief. Because your story is not over yet. In fact, it's just getting better.